Welcome to the Girl Emerge podcast, where we help you heal, pivot, position, plan, and profit from your business dreams. I'm Michelle Hill, your host and business launch and success coach dedicated to empowering women to overcome their past traumas and achieve their entrepreneurial goals. Today, we're diving into a critical aspect of success, which is the willingness to pivot in your plans. This is something that we all struggle with. Understanding and embracing the need to pivot can be the difference between staying stuck and achieving your dreams. First, let's talk about what it means to pivot. In the business world, a pivot is a fundamental change to your business model, your strategy, or even your product offering. It's not just a small adjustment, but a significant shift that addresses a new market need, or it actually capitalizes on an emerging opportunity. A lot of people pivot probably 90% of the time because of an emerging opportunity. Think of it as changing directions on your journey to success, not because you're lost, but because you found a better path. For instance, let's take the example of Miss Sarah Blakely. She's the founder of Spanx. She initially envisioned her product as footless pantyhose, but pivoted to create shaping undergarments that revolutionized the industry. So first of all, let's go back and think about the key words here. Let's listen to and visualize the key words. Footless pantyhose versus shaping undergarments. And when you think about these two phrases or words or combination of words, I really want you to think about the past versus the future. Footless pantyhose. Pantyhose in itself is a very nostalgic word. It's what we think of when we think of our grandmothers. It's something that we think of when we think of much older women. But a shaping undergarment, when you hear that, immediately it's modernized. It's of today, right? And her willingness to pivot based on market feedback turned a small idea into a $1 billion business. Okay. Now, why is being willing to pivot so important? So let's talk about a few reasons why. I really want you guys to pay attention to this next section. Number one is adaptability. Adaptability. Listen, the market is always changing. Nowadays, the market is always changing, or it changes faster, I should say, and a little bit more fluidly. And you would never guess why that is. It's because of social media. New trends, new technologies, and customer preferences can emerge overnight. And guess what? They use social media to spread all three of those points. Trends, what's new on the market, technologies, what's happening now, and the customers, they talk about all of their experiences, what they like, what they don't like, how something makes them feel, what something does for them. You understand? So adaptability, being able to adapt yourself to what is changing in your business, is one of the most important pivotal moments and pivotal shifts that you can ever take in your business. I remember when I first started Honey Milk. Oh my goodness, y'all. Honey Milk was an e-commerce business from the jump. There was no, hey, come pick it up from my home. Nothing like that in the beginning. Maybe a couple of people, but nothing, nationwide where I was like, or the people in my city, I wasn't inviting everybody to my home to come and buy products from me. So I felt like if I'm going to go into the retail space, I need this to be reachable to everybody. Everybody meaning all 51 states or 50 states or how many we really have. I don't know. So I started with, you know, Google checkout. Kind of embarrassing to say. But listen, I think I forgot what I was doing before that. I think I was just working with a few of my friends and they were buying products from me. So, hey, come bring me the money, come get your products. But that was very short lived because being who I am, I'm naturally someone who wants anything that I do to be very seamless. I want it to be extremely professional. I want it to be well received as if you were shopping in a big brand store. And so in comes Google checkout. And I thought I had hit the jackpot. And at that time, when my business was just kissed by Coco, I did hit the jackpot because I was a designer back then. And oh my gosh, like coming across Google checkout, honestly, I had to make it work for what I was doing. Now, mind you, I was already doing virtual work. So I had to get payments from customers or clients virtually. Everybody wasn't in my backyard. So I was as a virtual assistant, an online business manager or online business assistant. And I did creative design work. I did live answering services. I did graphic design work and social media marketing and management. And I did that for a number of years. But when I first started out, I needed a way to get paid. And so first I was using, I think it was called, it was in Zoho Invoice. And then once I went into the retail sector, I had more of a reach of people. I wanted to reach as many people as I could. It wasn't intentional, like, well, it wasn't small and intent like my creative online business support company, but I needed it to flow easy. I wasn't going to be monitoring every single sale that came in. I needed the sales to flow in. So of course, the natural thing to do is to adapt myself and adapt to using a little bit more of a smarter platform. And so in comes Google Checkout, and I made it work for my e-commerce business. So back then, I was still designing from scratch. I didn't know anything about web design, but I knew enough to make a website look pretty. I knew a little bit of coding, and I used platforms that would design the code for me. And I plugged in whatever design work I needed to plug in, plugged in the codes and everything, and I had a fully functional e-commerce website. Well, as time went on, and I started noticing a few more changes that were happening in the market, and I noticed how other websites were flowing a heck of a lot faster and less problemy than mine. I was like, you know what? I really got to learn something else because it started to frustrate me because my customers, there were starting to be more hiccups than it was worth. And there were so many times where I lost my umph. I was just like, to hell with this. I don't want to do this anymore. This is just too much. Maybe I'm doing the wrong thing. Maybe I didn't need to just stick with online business marketing and whatever. And so I had to literally take a month off, sometimes a few weeks, but most times a month off to really figure out how was I going to make my new retail business work. And I needed it to not just work seamlessly, I needed it to work extraordinarily. I needed it to work in a way that where I can compete with big box stores. And so I literally had to pivot myself and learn a whole new way of doing retail e-commerce business online in order to stay in that business. So being willing to pivot ensures you stay relevant and competitive. And guys, listen, adaptability, you have to be willing to adapt. You have to be willing to adapt. You have to be willing to make the changes necessary and sometimes veer off from your tunnel vision in order to make things work. All right. So the next thing is resilience. Resilience, going back to what I just said, sometimes our initial plans don't work out as expected. A lot of times, we as human beings, just natural born people, we are so tunnel visioned. Like, our tunnel vision is like ninja grip, like a ninja grip. There's nobody that's going to pry me away from the direction that I am going into. But the willingness to pivot, guys, is going to show resilience and the ability to bounce back from setbacks. Let me tell you something. Oh my goodness, there were so many times with my company, Honey Milk, even until this day. Money and the economy is not flowing like it was a few years ago. And sometimes, guys, sometimes money can get so low to where I don't have enough to buy supplies because I got to pay bills and I have to be able to, do other things with my money. I have my son to take care of, and I'm just being very transparent. Sometimes I think about, and I'm not even going to say sometimes, a lot of times I think about just throwing in the towel and giving up and just saying, you know what? Right now it's not the time for my business. But guess what? I have made a commitment. Customers have made a commitment to continue buying from me because they know that most of my products are healing to their skin. A lot of my products are good to my customers. So what do? I keep going. I become very, very resilient because there are people in existence that have purchased from me before that are highly dependent upon my products. I'm saving people's skin. If you go to my Instagram page at Honey Milk Company, you'll see saving skin since, or for 10 years or something like that. I don't know, but I know it says saving skin somewhere. But that's a true statement. So there are going to be times in your business where you absolutely have to be resilient. You have to have resilience. You have to be resilient because I promise you there are going to be hiccups. Somebody's going to come and snatch you out of that tunnel vision for a second and introduce you to this and introduce you to that. And some setbacks are going to happen and money's going to get low and customers aren't going to start or keep purchasing. You're going to see them on other people's posts, commenting on, sometimes you're going to lose your customers. And guess what? At the end of the day, if you've already made a commitment, it's important that you get to the drawing board and become extremely resilient. If you have to take a day off, 24 hours, 72 hours, 96 hours, how much ever hours or months to get it back right, never give up. You have to stay resilient. It's going to get shaky. It's going to get rocky, but you have to stay resilient. It's going to look a little scarce, a little bit sparse, but you're going to have to stay resilient. If this is a commitment that you made, you are going to have to learn how to take the issues that you're having, the down moments that you're having, the unsurety, and turn it into something greater. And the next point is going to talk all about that. And that is opportunity recognition. Guys, pivoting, learning how to master pivoting can open doors to new opportunities that you may not have considered initially. It's going to allow you to explore different avenues about your business or whatever it is that you're doing and potentially more profitable ventures. And what I mean by that is, listen, when I first started Honey Milk, holy moly, oh my goodness, my whole goal was to make soap and that was it. I only wanted to make toxin-free soap because the purpose of my business, the reason why my business started was because of my son who has autism. He's on the autism spectrum, and I was on a mission to keep toxins out of his system. It turned into something that my mother found out about through me, and she wanted to share my cute little creations with everybody else. Then my sister shared it with her then 14,000 followers on social media, and the rest was history. So, I need to keep my message alive. I started this way and let's finish it this way. I have something here. This is what people want. But I did not recognize the opportunity that was lying right there in what I had already put together. And this is what I mean. How many of you know that everything that appears shiny and new is not necessarily new? It is not necessarily good, and it's not necessarily what your market wants. So I got drawn in, guys. I got sucked in. And I need to make this little section here on opportunity recognition so short because I can go on and on about this. Well, once everything started going really good at Honey Milk, back then it was Kissed by Coco, everything started going good. I started to easily look at people that I considered my competition. And guess who they were? It was just other people making soap. They didn't have there was a very small market of soap makers that was focusing on toxin-free skincare. And when I say a small number, I got so intimidated by the ones that had the pink and the purples and the glitter and all the nice, beautiful smells and the dupes and listen, I got drawn in, guys. Oh my gosh, because I thought my customers wanted that too. Keyword, my customers. I have a certain market. I had a certain target market. And back then I didn't understand that. When you have a certain target market, you have to serve that market. So everything that appears shiny and new and pretty and dilly-dally is not what your customers are necessarily looking for. However, it doesn't mean that you can't veer off a little bit and offer something new. That's not what that means. Opportunity, you have to recognize that there's an opportunity within what you're already doing, what you're already presenting. If you make bracelets, how can you step it up a notch? You don't have to go and start making long necklaces or bracelets that's chained to your feet. You don't have, you can make something that's going to complement what everybody knows you for. Because what happens is, guys, the way you receive repeat customers, and I need you guys to really grasp this, and this is what I've learned in the 13 years of doing this business. What you have to realize is that people come back to what is familiar, and that is with everything. Nobody likes change. There's very rare a person likes change. If they come to you, if you have a sandwich shop and you make the best beef barbecue sandwiches with onions, sauteed onions, and a special sauce, and every week you have, let's say, 200 customers that come to your shop for that beef barbecue sandwich with sauteed onions and your special sauce, and then you decide that you want to take that same beef barbecue sandwich with onions, and you want to add tomatoes with the special sauce. Now you're telling your customers that this is the only way you're going to sell it, because you know that over at Joe Blow's shop, he's selling something very similar, but because of your sauce, they're just going to love it. Well, now you're down to 100 customers, and those 100 customers are out there lost trying to find another shop like yours with the same ambiance, the same brand experience, and the same product. But you're so busy adding these tomatoes to your beef barbecue sandwich with sauteed onions and special sauce, the tomatoes threw it off completely. Now you've lost 100 customers because you gravitated towards something that appeared shiny and new, because you thought your customers were going to like it. But what we have to understand is that when your customers come back, they're coming back for the same exact experience. They are probably 99.9% not coming back because you added tomatoes. They're not coming back for that. They're coming back for the same experience that they have been experiencing from the first time that they tried that dang on beef barbecue sandwich with sauteed onions and special sauce. From the first time that they tried it, they want to come back that second, third, fourth, fifth, 100th time and it be exactly the same. Now, if you offer a complimentary chip that is baked in your special sauce to complement their beef barbecue sandwich with onions and special sauce. Now, if you make something to go with that pairs very well with it, you may have a good percentage of people that will buy that to add to it. But you're not going to get the same 200 dedicated people that's going to like those damn tomatoes being added to their sandwich. So we have to learn our customers so well by getting the customer feedback, like Miss Sarah Blakely, the founder of Spanx, the same way she did. Customer feedback is everything. It's everything, guys. Now, the fact that you added these chips on the side with your special sauce to complement the beef barbecue sandwich is freaking genius, because you have at least 50% of your customers buying more than just the beef barbecue sandwich. Profitable ventures. So what you've done now is you've expanded upon the opportunity that was already there. Your initial foundation, you just added on to it. You just made an extra room that you can use and grow from. You can monetize that extra room. That's like having a 5-bedroom house that's filled up, and now you've added a 6th bedroom. Now you can monetize that bedroom. Now you can do something extra with that bedroom. Why? Because you have more room. You didn't just go out and buy a whole nother house. Why are you buying a whole nother house? Now you have to fill it all up. You're wasting money. And so that's what I was doing with Honey Milk, or with Kiss by Coco back then, because that's where it really started. I ran into the most trouble with Kiss by Coco, my soap company. That was the foundation. That was the first name of the business forever. That's where I ran into to problems, because I thought that me mimicking what these other soap companies were doing was a genius idea and offering my customers more. But what I forgot was the majority of my customers came to me. They started buying from my company because of the toxin-free skincare. And then I used to wonder, like, listen, guys, I ran this company it was so sparse. Like, for years, once I did that shift, started making all the soaps with the scents and the heavy scents and the strong scents that smell like banana and all the things that were not that good for your body. And sure, they were phthalate free, they were paraben free fragrance oils, but they still weren't the best things. They weren't pure essential oils. I ran to what was shiny and new, what appeared shiny and new, because my competitors, who I thought were my competitors, they were doing it. And that wasn't an opportunity, because I started losing customers at that very moment when I did that. They no longer felt safe. They no longer felt like the company that they've now grown to love and trust is a safe space for them and their children and their family. All right. So opportunity recognition is humongous. It's like huge, guys. Learning to know what those opportunities are is going to make or break your business. All right. So recognizing when to pivot. How do you know when it's time to pivot? How do you actually know that? Sometimes it's obvious and sometimes it's just not, because you got everybody in your ear. Everybody's holding your hand and pulling you this way and pulling you that way. We're in the age of social media. We see everything. Everything is tantalizing. Everything looks amazing. I want to do it too. Now, let's talk about stagnation. Here's some signs I want to go over with you guys. Stagnation is one of them. Stagnation, man. Listen, if your business growth has hit a plateau, more than likely it might be time to explore new strategies or new markets. More than likely it's time to start exploring new strategies or new markets or nothing at all. Sometimes we can take a stagnation for something and just blow it all out of the water, and it's not even that serious. It's just you're not doing what you're supposed to be doing. You're not being consistent. And you think that, okay, listen, this month I was hitting it. I was getting so many sales and so many sales were coming in, and oh my God, I'm getting new customers, new signups, no new this, that, and the other. And then one week you just got so comfortable and you stopped doing the work, and now you look at that as your business hitting a plateau. And then all of a sudden you start, let me see how I can step this up. I need to start exploring new markets. I need to start doing new strategies. And then you add more to your pot. That kind of goes back to opportunity recognition, where when I was kissed by Coco, I thought that me having to keep up with the competition, what I thought was competition, me having to do all this stuff to make my soaps purple and green and, pink and glittery and all this stuff, like I thought that I had to keep up with that. So for me, I thought me going that route was going to be an amazing thing for my business, and it wasn't. But in that thinking, I had to go and buy all types of more ingredients that are literally still sitting on my shelves today. Not touched. Not touched. New molds to look for my products to look a certain way, new packaging, new jars, new this, new that, all of this stuff that I do not even use today because I was trying to keep up with my false competition. All right. So stagnation can mask itself. You got to be very, very careful. Are you still doing the work? If you are doing the work, you shouldn't hit a plateau. But sometimes you can hit a plateau. If you have hit a legit plateau, yes, then it is time to explore some new strategies and new markets. But do not go looking at your false competition in order to find that place to get to a new echelon. Do not start looking at them. Look at the opportunities that lie within where you already are. Okay? How can I improve upon what I'm already doing? How can I go into a new market or develop a new strategy that is tied into my foundation? All right. Now, this next one is what Miss Sarah Blakely did, and that's customer feedback. And guys, I cannot tell you how important this is. Think about it. Nowadays, when we go to Amazon, we're surfing through Amazon. We look at the product that we find the product that we want. What do we do next? We go to the reviews. If you continue to this day buying things without looking at the reviews, oh my goodness, we have to learn how to pay attention to what our customers are saying. Guys, this is so critical. It's so critical. If they're asking for features or even services that you don't offer, it might be a little bit more of a time to consider a pivot. Start thinking about it. And you can even play with this scenario a little bit. It may not have to be real customer feedback in the works right now, that where your customers are actually saying these things about your business. Play around with it. What if? Do a list, take out a piece of paper, grab you a pen or your notebook, and say, what if my customers say X, Y, and Z? What am I willing to do? What can I do? How can I improve upon my foundation? Customer feedback is everything, guys. Get one step ahead of them and take that pen and paper out and write down some what ifs. All right. So market shifts is the next point. This is the next sign where I encourage you to keep an eye on what the industry trends are. What is everybody doing? Like, what is everybody gravitating towards? That doesn't mean 99% you need to go that way too, but you need to be paying attention. Because as I stated in the beginning, we're ever evolving. We're always improving. The market is always changing. And if you're still stuck back in 1979 when you first started your business, you are in trouble, my dear. You're in trouble. So if the market is moving in a different direction, you might need to pivot to stay relevant. And holy moly, this is, let me tell you something, probably the past 6, 7 months, this is something that I've been doing. It's hard. It's challenging. It's very challenging. You have to do something to stay relevant. Whether it's posting every day, whether it's posting in new angles, whether you don't have to go all big and all out, but are you posting pictures in a different angle? Or are you posting in the same way? Are you doing videos or are you doing just pictures? Are you posting stories or are you just doing posts? Are you doing TikToks or are you just posting on your Instagram? You understand what I'm saying? Do something that's going to keep you relevant even if you don't feel like it. Posting every day is going to keep you relevant. It's going to keep you higher in the news feeds. All right. So this last one, guys, is gut feelings. The gut feeling. Sometimes, listen, sometimes it's time for a change. Sometimes you just know. And if you learn within your business how to trust your instincts, it's going to be everything. And if you can learn how to be willing to explore new possibilities, everything. That's everything. Your gut feeling is never, probably, I shouldn't say never, because sometimes our minds are in different places that they don't necessarily need to be in. But when you learn how to trust your instinct, you're going to experience something where your eyes open up a little bit more to what's going on. You understand what I'm saying? It's going to open up, because sometimes, guys, we have tunnel vision so bad to where we don't see nothing. We don't see anything coming in. We don't see anything wrong because we're just totally delusional about what's happening. We're delusional about the stagnation. We don't want to listen to the customer feedbacks. We don't care about anything that's happening with the market because my foundation is my foundation and I'm not changing for anybody. That is the most listen, don't do it. Don't do it. Trust your gut feeling. When things are not feeling right, your spirit is going to tell you. What's happening in your business is going to tell you. All of the things, okay? All of the things, guys. Now, planning your pivot. Planning your pivot. If you've recognized the need to pivot, let's talk about some actionable steps to help you plan that. Number 1 is evaluate. Assess your current situation and then identify what's not working. But guys, let me tell you something. You have to learn how to be honest about the challenges that you're facing. That is something that I literally had to start doing and really being brave enough to do. I had to start assessing my real, true situation and really pull out the things that were not working. That was the hardest thing for me to do. Gotta be honest. And I had to really accept the challenges that I was facing. All right. So next is research. Research. Are you gathering information on, let's say, like potential new directions? Potential new directions. Potential keyword. Look at the market trends. Look at your competitors' strategies. What are they over there doing? Look through the window a little bit, guys. We can't be afraid to do that. Take the jealousy out. Take the animosity out. Just look at what they're doing. Now, listen, you do not have to copy it to a T. We're not plagiarizing anything. We're not going that route, but we are taking a look at what you guys are doing over there. I need to know, how are you at 400 and something thousand followers and I'm still at 200. I need to know. Sure, I just started my business, but I'm curious as to how you got to 400 something thousand. I need to know. What is your strategy? What are you doing? How does your stuff look? What are your customers saying in the comments? Do your research, guys. Do your research. Pay attention to your customers' needs. Pay attention. Let me tell you something. The one thing about customer feedback, they are going to tell you what they need. They're going to tell you what their needs are. They don't have any problem. Now, people shop with you, and I want people to understand this. When it comes to retail or even business, period, they do business with who they like, know, and trust. Very simple. Do I like you? Do I feel like I know you? And can I trust you? They will get all of that through your brand experience. They will get all of that how you show up online. I'm just being honest. Nowadays, unfortunately, that's the atmosphere that we're in. That's what we're dealing with. All right. Next is develop a clear plan for your pivot. Develop a clear plan for your pivot. You need to learn how to outline steps that you'll actually take, guys. This is important. Let me tell you something. I feel like doing this every month, or even, it doesn't even have to be every month, every quarter, Q1, Q2, Q3, Q4 should have a new set of outlines that you will take, steps that you'll take, a plan that you're going to execute to get you from point A to point B. And it doesn't have to be the big picture. It can just be little goals within the big picture. Talk about the resources that you're going to need in order to implement anything. And talk about the timeline in which you're going to implement everything. All right? That's very critical moving forward in business. You want to know how to get your numbers up there? Plan. Plan for it. Make the small steps to achieve a bigger step. Next, you have to communicate. If you have a team, some of us don't, but if you have a team, communicate your plans very, very clearly. It's not rocket science, guys. Designate. Put certain people in places. Don't try to take one person and bombard them with everything. You need to have a very intentional, focused outline for your team. Communicate your plans clearly and watch what happens. Make sure that everyone is on board and understand what their roles are in the transition of your pivots. Guys, that is so critical. I can't stress it enough. Okay? Can't stress it enough. Next, you're going to take action and start implementing your pivot because you've already done the research. You've already done the evaluation. You're very honest with yourself in the evaluation. Now you need to do the research and the planning and communicating to your team. If you don't have a team, that outline in the planning stage will work just fine. That is your team. That is your team. All right. Monitor your progress and be ready to make further adjustments as needed in this execution. Guys, and the last thing we're going to talk about is embracing that change. Embracing the willingness to pivot. I promise you, it is going to be challenging, but it's crucial. It's a crucial skill for any entrepreneur. Remember this, guys. Every great business has faced moments where they needed to change course in order to find greater success. In order to find greater success. You have to be open, you have to be adaptable, and you cannot be afraid to pivot when it's necessary. Listen, it's all about moving forward. Do you want to stay stuck trying to figure it out, trying to iron out things all the time, repeating, and next thing you know, 5 years later, you're still doing the same exact thing, trying to iron out the wrinkles? No, guys, you have to be willing to pivot. But if you are going to be in the space of pivoting and getting bold about it, you have to plan for it. You can't just do it. Plan for it, because the purpose is moving forward and not being stuck. Stagnation. Remember, we talked about that? Stagnation is a killer. Oh my goodness. I still see a lot of clients that I worked with, they're still in the same space. Once I stopped coaching them, they could not move past where I got them to. All right. So, guys, I just want to thank you so, so much for joining me on the official episode number 1 of the Girl Emerge podcast. If you found this discussion helpful, guys, make sure you subscribe. Please leave me a review. I would love, especially in these early stages, I would love to know what you guys think. I ask that you also share it with others who you think might benefit from my voice and my teachings. All right. I would greatly appreciate that. So until next time, guys, please keep pushing. Please keep pushing. Okay. Keep adapting and keep emerging stronger. I'm Michelle Hill signing off. You guys take care and remember, the power to pivot is the will to succeed. Until next time, guys, I'll talk to you later. Bye.